If you love Canada, if you love great hair, if you love what the media party loves, then you'll love Justin Trudeau. Justin believes in a strong economy, numbers, and mathy things.
And the budget will balance itself.
He defends a united Canada, even if Quebec is freer, fairer, Frenchier than the rest of us.
I live this country in my bones every breath I take, and I'm not going to stand here and somehow defend that I actually do love Canada, because we know I love Canada.
Est-ce que le Canada est mieux servi quand il y a plus de Québécois au pouvoir?
Ben, je suis libéral, alors c'est sûr que je pense que oui.
An avid backpacker who's so cosmopolitan, it's his favorite drink. Justin is strong on foreign policy.
There's a level of admiration I actually have for China.
Et c'est très inquiétant, surtout puisque la Russie a perdu au hockey.
And when it comes to national security, Justin won't back down. Because maybe talk therapy for terrorists really is the answer.
There is no question that this happened because there is someone who feels completely excluded, completely
Justin Trudeau is what makes Canada work, and he's not afraid to work it.
All that, your name, your fortune, your intelligence, your beauty, none of that matters.
If you don't want to be a piece of join the Silver Spoon Revolution, because he's more than Canada's next top model. Justin Trudeau is Canada's next Prime Minister.
You are being brilliant. That was amazing.
Oh, it didn't take much. I have to say, Justin gave me more than enough material.
The whole day you've been running around the office looking really sort of mysterious. That's what you were up to, you evil girl.
No. I have to say, that was all from Justin's just first year at the helm of the Liberal Party. He truly is the gift that keeps on giving, Michael. I have to say, he has an unusual and almost superpower-like ability to stick his tongue into the nearest electrical socket whenever possible. No, but you know, as much as we make light of it, it's pretty concerning because Justin is ahead in the polls.
It's incredibly
right now.
concerning because I know Conservatives continue with this mantra of, no, it won't happen. It could happen. He could win.
Certainly, and although we continue to use Justin's words to try to prove a point, I mean, no one sat there and said, Justin, if you could try to say something nice about China, could you try to make up some sort of argument as to why we should gain relations with Iran once again? No one's asked him to do this stuff. This comes of his own volition. Now, Michael, I'm of two minds because I don't know if Justin is genuinely an airhead and he's being fed this stuff from the people within the wings around him, like his radical brother, Alexander Sasha, like
the one
Mr.
who's worked with Iranian television.
Who's actually far smarter when it comes to book smarts than Justin, but because the Liberal Party is just way too right of center for him, it won't be his pretty face on the ballot, but rather his airhead brother. I don't know if Justin is in fact an airhead or if he truly believes these things, because you can see, he says these things quite seriously, and I don't know if it's to be provocative or profound, because quite frankly, I find it neither. I just find it silly.
I've only met him the one time. He actually seems quite a nice guy, sort of guy you might want to go out for a drink with, but not someone who should be Prime Minister. Stephen Harper, I've only met Harper a couple of times, long interviews, and the first time I met him, he said to me, how old are you, Michael? And I told him my age. He said, oh, we're the same age. Funny, you look much older. Now, it may be that Harper doesn't ooze charm. Mulcair can be a difficult man, but he's an impressive man, Mulcair. Trudeau seems to be a big child, but people like him. I mean, and there are certain constituent groups in this country, New Canadians, certain types of women, people who think that everything the Conservatives do is evil. They want selfies the whole... Let's talk about selfies, by the segue, because Jim Flaherty's funeral, and a woman came up to him and wanted a selfie. And again, it's not Trudeau's fault that happened, but the response will be, I'd love to, but this is not appropriate. It's a man's funeral here. Another time, I would love to.
Certainly. Michael, you know yourself, I had to excuse myself from the newsroom because it was such an emotionally charged event. It was somber on every single note. The fact that the man took time to, and you can see it from the video, that he walks away from the parade of officials to essentially, in a sense, hand out business cards, if you will, which are selfies, at a moment that had nothing to do with him. It had everything to do with Jim Flaherty and his family. personally. I found it most disrespectful, but apparently this is a trend now. Folks are taking selfies at funerals. Look, when I meet that certain kind of woman that'll vote for him, they don't say things like, oh, it's the kind of guy that you could go to the pub with and have a beer. Well, he's the kind of man I should wish to date. Yeah, but is he the type of guy that you'd like to marry? Is he the type of guy that you'd have leading your country, standing toe-to-toe with Putin? He's made jokes that Putin, they lost at a hockey game in the Olympics, therefore they must be upset. We're talking a country that's on the brink of perhaps genocide. There are reports today that Jews are being forced to register.
Not sure if I by that. However,
it's a serious situation.
It's a very serious situation, and once again, I don't think Trudeau is a bad guy. I think he's an ordinary guy who's out of his depth. You know, Brian Mulrooney's son, Ben, very nice fella, very nice, humble man, quite bright, doesn't go into politics, doesn't think he's right for it. But Trudeau thinks he is right for it, and he isn't. He may win. I think it'll be a challenge for him. What I do fear, as you mentioned, his brother and others, who are very much on the hard left, not the old liberal establishment, they're very centrist, but other people who, and I know some other people who work for him, their views on the Middle East, on Islam. This man should not be Prime Minister.
Not to mention the fact that now he's drafting City Councillor Adam Vaughan, who is hyper-left. It's clear that he's not looking to
arrogant, too.
Yeah, that kind of fits there. But it looks as though he's not looking to court the near customers on the right, but rather those on the far left. That is worrisome for myself as a Canadian, and frankly, I see him as our next Prime Minister, and I worry that I'm going to become a political refugee, basically, in my own country.
Well, do remember that conservative publications and networks always do their best when there is a Liberal administration, the National Review under Clinton or whatever. So it's a win-win situation for us, isn't it?
The gift that keeps on giving, Michael.
But, I mean, in all seriousness, Canada comes first. This great country comes first. And I'll say it once more. There's no evil, there's no malice, but there's incompetence. He's out of his depth. And I want to see the likes of Flaherty and Harper. Even Mulcair would be better. Even Mulcair, who is a firm man who could stand up to others, but not Justin.
Well, because Mulcair at least presents himself as a true statesman. Okay. And I think that he might open, Justin, the door to evil.
Thank you so very much indeed.
You're welcome.